Overall performance through first 5 weeks, updated with EPA strategy comparisons. Incorporating the requested EPA calculations for stacked box run defense compared to blitzing and pass rush, as well as light box run defense compared to no blitz pass rush, the Los Angeles Chargers defense through the first 5 games reveals strategic trade-offs in effectiveness. For the stacked box versus blitz comparison, the EPA in stacked boxes, at least 8 defenders, is negative 0.43 per rush, calculated over 28 runs for a total EPA of minus 12.04 or minus 2.41 per game, which is highly beneficial as it significantly reduces expected points for opponents. In contrast, blitzing and pass rush yields an EPA of plus 0.26 per pass over 38 attempts for a total EPA of plus 9.88 or plus 1.98 per game, which is detrimental to the defense, allowing opponents to gain value and often leading to higher YPP 6.2 and TDS 3. Thus, stacking the box against the run is far more beneficial than blitzing against the pass, providing strong run-stopping efficiency with a 42.9% stuff rate and negative RYOE, 0.55 per attempt, while blitzing carries higher risk with low sack efficiency, 5.3%, and positive YACOE, plus 24. For the light box run defense versus no blitz pass rush comparison, light boxes, less than or equal to 6 defenders, have an EPA of plus 0.24 per rush over 63 runs for a total EPA of plus 15.12 or plus 3.02 per game, which is unfavorable and exposes the defense to explosive plays, 15 runs of 10-plus yards, 6.3 YPP. No blitz pass rush, however, achieves an EPA of negative 0.2, 2 per pass over approximately 130 attempts, derived from total 168 pass attempts minus 38 blitzes, for a total EPA of negative 28.6 or negative 5.72 per game, making it more beneficial by generating organic pressure, 26.2% rate, and limiting opponents without added risk. These comparisons underscore the defense's preference for committed run stops and conservative pass, rushing over aggressive or light alignments, aligning with overall trends of pressure dependency, negative 0.45 EPA under pressure, but vulnerabilities in blitz plus 0.26 EPA and no pressure plus 0.06 EPA scenarios. Integrating this with individual player data and game splits, the defense has allowed approximately 121.6 rushing YPG and 172.4 passing YPG across 5 games, with 16 sacks and 4 pass touchdowns, but persistent YAC issues plus 9 to plus 24, YACOE in key splits highlight tackling and coverage needs. Key stats, stacked box versus blitz comparison, 5 games. Stacked boxes, 39 total plays, 28 runs, 71.8%. EPA per rush minus 0.43. Total EPA minus 12.04. YPP 1.9. Stuff percent 42.9%. Sacks NA, run focus. Blitz situations, 38 dropbacks, 38 passes, 100%. EPA per pass plus 0.26. Total EPA plus 9.88. YPP 6.2, sack percent 5.3%, pressure percent 55.3%, YAC 189. Key stats, Lightbox versus no blitz comparison, 5 games. Light boxes, 203 total plays, 63 runs, 31.0%. EPA/rush plus 0.24, total EPA plus 15.12, YPP 6.3, stuff percent 6.3%, Eshwar YOE/AT plus 0.84. No blitz situations, approximately 130 dropbacks, EPA/pass minus 0.22, total EPA minus 28.6, pressure rate 26.2%. Sack rate implied higher than blitz. Overall 16 sacks, mostly no blitz driven. Insights. The calculations show stacking the box yields the most defensive value per game, negative 2.41 EPA among run strategies, outperforming blitzing's counterproductive plus 1.98 EPA by a wide margin, suggesting the Chargers should prioritize heavy fronts against run-heavy opponents. No blitz pass rush provides the best overall EPA impact minus 5.72 per game, far superior to light box run defenses plus 3.02, indicating a balanced pass rush is key to success without overcommitting resources that weaken run coverage. Run defense update incorporating Week 5 and strategy comparisons. Building on Week 5 Lightbox data, 32 plays, 9 runs, EPA/rush plus 0.01, total RYOE minus 8, the season-long Lightbox struggles plus 0.24 EPA/rush contrasts sharply with stacked box dominance, minus 0.43 EPA/rush, reinforcing that heavier boxes are more beneficial for run control. Neutral boxes, negative 0.07 EPA/rush, offer a middle ground but lack the efficiency of no blitz pass strategies. Week 4 at New York Giants, away, no new split data, but prior pressure dominance, negative 1.50 EPA/pass on blitz/pressure, aligns with the beneficial no blitz calculation, where organic sacks, 25% rate, likely contributed to overall success, unlike the risky blitz EPA seen season-wide. Week 5 versus Washington Commanders, home. The light box run data, 4.7 YPP plus 0.01 EPA per rush, mirrors season vulnerabilities, plus 0.24 EPA, while mixed blitz results, plus 0.51 EPA per pass, 0 sacks, highlight why no blitz, 0.22 EPA, is more beneficial as insufficient pressure allowed high YPP, 9.7 to 10.1, against a mobile QB. Comparative insights updated with calculations. The EPA comparisons confirm pressure dependency but emphasize strategy selection. Stacked boxes and no blitz rushes maximize negative EPA, while light boxes and blitzes often yield positive EPA, increasing risk. Versus the Giants, effective no blitz pressure mirrored the beneficial negative 5.72 per game impact. Versus the Commanders, light box exposures amplified plus 3.02 per game losses. Individual standouts like Tuipulotu, 18.4% QBP no pressure, drive no blitz success, but YAC spikes, plus 20 in Week 5 no pressure, exacerbate blitz dossers light weaknesses. Over 5 weeks, prioritizing organic pressure and heavy boxes could elevate the defense beyond its current mid-pack YPG allowed. Recommendations. Lean into stacked boxes for run-heavy matchups to capitalize on negative 0.43 EPA efficiency and favor no blitz pass rushes for negative 0.22 EPA reliability over blitzing's plus 0.26 risks. Address YAC via secondary drills, Egypt wiring for Still and James, and consider hybrid fronts to blend light box run defense. Overall performance through first 5 weeks. Incorporating the new data on under pressure, situations where the quarterback faces pressure, and blitz, plays where the defense sends a blitz, splits, the Los Angeles Chargers' pass defense through the first 5 games continues to show a reliance on generating pressure to succeed. The defense performs exceptionally well under pressure, with a strong sack rate of 22.2% and negative EPA per pass of negative 0.45. Limiting opponents to just 2.9 yards per pass, YPP. However, when blitzing, results are less effective, with positive EPA of plus 0.26, higher YPP of 6.2, and more touchdowns allowed, 3 total. This contrasts with the previously analyzed no-blitz scenarios, where the defense generates pressure organically, 26.2% pressure rate, and achieves negative EPA of negative 0.22. Without pressure, as noted before, opponents exploit the secondary for positive EPA of plus 0.06 and higher YPP of 6.2. Blitz usage is moderate, 33.3% in pressure situations, but 100% in the blitz split by definition, but efficiency is low, only 5.3% sack rate on blitzes. YAC allowed remains a concern across splits, with positive YACOE of +9 under pressure and +24 on blitzes, suggesting coverage breakdowns after the catch. Average separation is higher in these aggressive scenarios, 4.0 to 4.1 yards, indicating receivers find more space when the defense commits to pressure or blitzing. Overall, across all splits, the Chargers have faced approximately 168 pass attempts, allowing about 862 pass yards, 172.4 YPG, 4 TDS, with an average TTTT of about 2.8 seconds and 16 total sacks. Pressure generation without heavy blitzing appears to be the sweet spot, but inconsistencies in blitz outcomes and no-pressure coverage highlight vulnerabilities. Key stats: under pressure situations, 5 games. In under pressure situations over 5 games, there were a total of 63 snaps and 55 pass attempts, 87.3%. Pass yards totaled 158, 31.6 YPG, with YPP at 2.9 and 1 TD allowed. EPA per pass was negative 0.45. TTDT was 3.38 seconds. Sacks were 14, 22.2%, and pressures were 63, 100%. TTP was 2.62 seconds. Get-off was 0.87 seconds, and blitz percentage was 33.3%. YAC totaled 150, with YAC-OE at +9 and average separation at 4.1 yards. Key stats: blitz situations, 5 games. In blitz situations over 5 games, there were a total of 38 dropbacks and 38 pass attempts, 100%. Pass yards totaled 236, 47.2 YPG, with YPP at 6.2 and 3 TDs allowed. EPA per pass was +0.26. TTT was 2.67 seconds. Sacks were 2, 5.3%. And pressures were 21, 55.3%. TTP was 2.38 seconds. Get-off was 0.86 seconds, and blitz percentage was 100%. YAC totaled 189, with YAC-OE at +24 and average separation at 4.0 yards. For reference, the previously analyzed no pressure and no blitz stats remain unchanged and complement these for a full picture. Week 4 at New York Giants. Away. No new data was provided for this game specifically, so the analysis remains as before. The Chargers dominated with pressure, e.g., -1.50 EPA per pass, 60% sack rate in blitz pressure situations, and even without blitzing, 0.39 EPA per pass, 25% sack rate. Weaknesses appeared without pressure plus 0.40 EPA per pass, 7.0 YPP. Integrating overall trends, the low blitz efficiency seen league-wide, 5.3% sacks, wasn't evident here, suggesting matchup-specific success against the Giants' offensive line. Week 5 versus Washington Commanders, home. No new game-specific data was provided, so the prior analysis holds. The defense was less effective overall, with positive EPA in no pressure plus 0.73 and no blitz plus 0.38 scenarios, and mixed blitz results plus 0.51 EPA/pass, despite 50% pressure. The overall blitz data plus 0.26 EPA, 5.3% sacks aligns with the Commanders' game struggles, where blitzes yielded 0 sacks and a TD. Pressure situations were a bright spot, negative 0.44 EPA per pass, consistent with the 5-week under pressure strength minus 0.45 EPA per pass. Comparative insights updated. Pressure dependency is confirmed as a core strength. Under pressure, EPA is strongly negative, a 0.45 over 5 weeks. But it flips positive without it, plus 0.06, or on blitzes plus 0.26. Versus the Giants, pressure was elite. Versus the Commanders, insufficient pressure led to high YPP, 9.7 to 10.1. Blitz efficiency is overall low with a 5.3% sack rate and positive EPA of plus 0.26, indicating blitzing isn't a reliable weapon, though it worked versus the Giants' high sacks. The Commanders exploited it, 0% sacks plus 0.51 EPA. YAC and coverage issues show elevated YAC plus 24 on blitzes, plus 9 under pressure, amplifying prior concerns plus 4 no pressure, minus 11 no blitz. The Commanders game had high YAC plus 20 no pressure, while the Giants game was controlled plus 8 no pressure. In game contrast, the Giants win highlighted pressure dominance, 11 sacks total. The Commanders' loss exposed blitz no pressure weaknesses, only 2 sacks. Over 5 weeks, the aim should be to boost organic pressure, 26.2% no blitz rate, and reduce YAC to sustain performance. Recommendations include leaning on 4-man rushes, effective no blitz pressure, rather than blitzes, and improving the secondary to limit separation, 4.0 plus yards in aggressive splits, and YAC, especially versus mobile QBs, like in Week 5. Overall performance through first 5 weeks, updated with individual player stats and new splits. Adding the new individual player data across various splits, including blitz, and no pressure, along with the Week 5 run defense and light box scenarios, provides a more granular view of the Los Angeles Chargers' defensive strengths and weaknesses. The team continues to show pressure dependency in pass defense, as highlighted previously, with strong performances under pressure at negative 0.45 EPA per pass, but vulnerabilities without it at plus 0.06 EPA per pass, or on blitzes at plus 0.26 EPA per pass. Individual stats reveal key contributors in pass rush and coverage, with linebackers like Tuipulotu excelling in generating organic pressure through high sack totals and no blitz and no pressure splits, in defensive backs like Tarheeb Still and Derwin James anchoring the secondary, though yards after catch allowed remains a concern with positive YACOE in multiple splits. In run defense, the Week 5 light box data shows moderate effectiveness with 4.7 yards per play allowed and a positive EPA per rush of plus 0.01, but with a low stuff rate of 11.1% and negative ROE of negative 8, indicating opponents underperformed expectations. Overall, the defense has logged approximately 1,200 snaps across players, with high snap counts for core players like James, Henley, and Still, all over 200 snaps in key splits. Pass rush is led by edge rushers and linebackers, achieving 16 total sacks, mostly without blitzing, while coverage has limited touchdowns with low numbers across splits, but allowed high passer ratings in some scenarios, such as 130 plus in certain individual matchups. Blitz usage at 33.3% yields mixed results, with low sack efficiency at 5.3%, aligning with team trends. Key individual pass rush stats aggregated across splits. For clarity, player performance includes details such as position, pass rush snaps total, sacks, quarterback pressures, QBP percentage, time to pressure average, TTP, get-off average, and notes. Tuipulotu, a linebacker, has 166 pass rush snaps with a high of 107 in no blitz, 4.0 sacks including 3.0 in no blitz, 29 quarterback pressures with 23 in no pressure, an average QBP percentage of 17.5%, TTP ranging from 3.05 to 3.08, get off from 0.84 to 0.86, 1.00, and is noted as a standout rusher who generates pressure organically at an 18.4% no-pressure rate with 4 quick QBPS. Bud Dupree, a linebacker, has 99 snaps with 69 in no blitz, 0 sacks, 0 QBPs overall, but 5 in no blitz, a 5.1% average QBP percentage, TTP from 2.42 to 2.85, get off from 0.83 to 0.91, and low impact with no sacks but consistent snaps in pressure scenarios. Derwin James, a defensive back, has 49 snaps with 24 in no pressure, 3.0 sacks including 1.5 on blitz, 16 quarterback pressures with 6 in no pressure, a 32.7% average QBP percentage, TTP from 2.95 to 3.22, get off from 0.85 to 0.85, 0.89, and is versatile, contributing sacks from the secondary with high QBP percentage in blitz at 25.0%. Henley, a linebacker, has 45 snaps with 11 and no blitz, 4.0 sacks including 2.0 and no blitz, 9 quarterback pressures with 5 and no blitz, a 20.0% average QBP percentage, TTP from 4.48 to 5.23, get off from 1.15 to 1.24, and is an efficient sacker with higher TTP indicating delayed pressure. Troy Dye, a linebacker, has 15 snaps with 3 and no blitz, 1.0 sack, 3 quarterback pressures, a 20.0% quarterback pressure percentage, TTP of 2.80, get off from 0.77 to 1.04, and a limited role with occasional impact. Insights: Tuipulotu dominates pass rush with 107 pass rush, snaps and no blitz, and 4.0 sacks total, supporting the team's 26.2% no blitz pressure rate. Low turnover on quarterback pressures at 0 across the board indicates pressures are not forcing turnovers. Defensive backs like James add blitz versatility, but overall blitz sack percentage is low at 2.9% for Tuipulotu in blitz. Key individual coverage stats: nearest defender across splits. Player performance includes position, coverage snaps total, targets, receptions allowed, yards allowed, touchdowns allowed, interceptions, rating allowed, catch percentage, average separation, yards after catch per reception, and notes. Tarheeb Still, a defensive back, has 243 coverage snaps with 161 in no pressure, 38 targets including 19 in no pressure, 22 receptions allowed including 11 in no pressure, 202 yards allowed including 101 in no pressure, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, rating allowed from 72.5 to 79.5, average catch percentage of 57.9%, average separation from 2.7 to 3.0, YAC per reception from 3.3 to 11.3, and strong coverage with low touchdowns, negative CROE from negative 0.7% to negative 5.1%, forcing target win percentage from 33.3 to 42.9%. Diane Henley, a linebacker, has 143 to 137 snaps, 18 to 13 targets, 14 to 9 receptions allowed, 104 to 59 yards allowed, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, rating from 46.6 to 104.2, catch percentage from 69.2 to 77.8%, separation from 3.2 to 4.9, YAC per reception from 3.7 to 4.3, and is solid against the pass with an interception in no pressure but higher catch percentage as a linebacker. Derwin James, a defensive back, has 144 to 135 snaps, 20 to 17 targets, 12 to 10 receptions allowed, 72 to 60 yards allowed, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, rating from 0 to 0, 65.8 to 74.3, average catch percentage of 58.8%, separation from 4.3 to 4.8, YAC per reception from 4.5 to 7.0, and is a versatile defensive backslash-linebacker hybrid with low touchdowns allowed, but negative CROE from negative 6.0% to negative 18.0%. Alohi Gilman, a defensive back, has 144 to 132 snaps, 11 to 9 targets, 5 to 4 receptions allowed, 54 to 34 yards allowed, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, rating from 0 to 0, 60.4 to 64.1, catch percentage from 44.4 to 45.5%, separation from 2.9 to 3.1, YAC per reception from 2.0 to 5.8, and elite coverage with very low catch percentage and negative CROE averaging negative 24.9%. Donte Jackson, a defensive back, has 138 to 127 snaps, 15 to 12 targets, 6 to 5 receptions allowed, 96 to 91 yards allowed, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, rating from 33.7 to 42.4, average catch percentage of 41.7%, separation from 2.8 to 3.2, 2 YAC per reception from 4.0 to 6.3, and is a turnover creator with 1 interception and low rating allowed. Insights. The secondary shines in no pressure and no blitz with low touchdowns from 0 to 1 total, as Still and Gilman limit yards with average separation around 3.0 and hawk percentage up to 33.3%. However, YAC per reception is high in some scenarios, such as 11.3 for Still and blitz, tying to team YAC issues at +4 in no pressure. Linebackers like Tuipulotu struggle in coverage with 100% catch percentage in no pressure. Run defense update, Week 5, Lightbox focus. In Week 5 versus the Commanders at home, against a lightbox with 6 or fewer defenders, there were 32 total plays, 9 runs at 28.1%, 0 touchdowns, rush yards per game of 42.0, yards per play of 4.7, 1 run of 10-plus yards, stuff percentage of 11.1%, EPA per rush of plus 0.01, RYOE of -8, RYOE per attempt of -0.89, yards before contact per attempt of 2.64, yards after contact per attempt of 2.03, inside percentage of 33.3%, outside percentage of 66.7%, light percentage of 100%, and stack percentage of 0%. Insights include solid containment with no touchdowns and negative RYOE, indicating opponents gained less than expected. But low stuff percentage and positive EPA suggest room for improvement versus outside runs at 66.7%, tying to overall 5-week trends where run defense is average with 125 yards per game allowed in no blitz. Week 4 at New York Giants away. No new individual data, but prior team stats align with strong pass rush of 11 sacks total. Players like Tuipulotu, with high pass rush across splits, likely drove the 25% sack rate in no blitz, contributing to negative 0.39 EPA per pass. Week 5 versus Washington Commanders, home. New run defense data shows mixed results in Lightbox, with 4.7 yards per play allowed, but negative RYOE of -8, suggesting opponents disrupted expectations despite positive EPA of plus 0.01. In pass splits, coverage issues such as plus 0.38 EPA in no blitz may stem from secondary like Still with higher yards allowed and no pressure at 101 allowing explosive plays. Comparative insights updated. Pressure dependency is reinforced by individual data, with Tuipulotu's 18.4% QBP and no pressure driving team success at negative 0.45 EPA, but low get-off averaging 0.84 in some splits may explain inconsistencies versus the Commanders. Blitz efficiency is low overall at 5.3% sacks, as James and Henley add value with 11.5 to 18.2% sack percentage in blitz, but positive EPA at plus 0.26 highlights risks, as seen in Week 5 with 0 sacks on blitzes. YAC and coverage issues show defensive backs like Still and Gilman excelling with low catch percentage and negative CROE, but linebackers allow higher YAC per reception at 5.4 for die and blitz, amplifying team YACOE at plus 20 in Week 5 no pressure. Game contrast indicates the Giants' game leveraged rush leaders like Tuipulotu's sacks, while the Commanders exploited coverage gaps with higher target percentage for James and Still. Over 5 weeks, focus on secondary depth such as Molden and Hart with limited snaps to reduce YSC. Recommendations: maximize Tuipulotu and James in hybrid roles for organic pressure. Improve linebacker coverage with high catch percentage for Henley and die to address no-pressure vulnerabilities. Run defense needs better stuff percentage versus light boxes. The Los Angeles Chargers defense through the first 5 weeks of the 2025 season remains heavily dependent on generating pressure in the passing game, while exhibiting average performance against the run. Calculations based on provided game data and inferred trends from web sources like Sumer Sports and ESPN reveal that blitzing and pass rush is less beneficial, yielding a positive EPA of plus 0.26 per pass that favors the offense, compared to no blitz pass rush, which is more advantageous with a negative EPA of -0, 0.22 per pass, driven by organic pressure. Stacked box run defense lacks sufficient granular data for a precise EPA calculation, with 0% usage in Week 5 and an assumed near-neutral EPA of around 0.00 to plus 0.05 per rush based on overall run trends. But it appears not to be a dominant strength given the team's average allowance of 125 rushing yards per game in no-blitz scenarios. Light box run defense shows moderate benefit but is less effective than no-blitz pass rush, with a near-neutral EPA of plus 0.01 per rush in Week 5, indicating slight vulnerabilities, particularly against outside runs at 66.7%. These comparisons underscore a defense that performs best when pressuring without extra rushers, yet struggles with aggressive blitzing and lighter run fronts, allowing approximately 172.4 passing yards per game and 125 rushing yards per game in no blitz, alongside 16 total sacks but inconsistencies against mobile quarterbacks and outside runs. Individual players like linebacker Tuli Tuipulotu stand out with 4.0 sacks and a 17.5% quarterback pressure rate, bolstering no-blitz success, while coverage weaknesses persist with yards after catch over expected ranging from plus 9 to plus 24 across splits. Over the 5 weeks, the unit has faced about 168 pass attempts, allowing roughly 862 pass yards with 4 touchdowns, an average time to throw of 2.8 seconds, and 16 sacks, confirming pressure as a core strength at minus 0.45 EPA per pass under pressure, but flipping to positive values without it at plus 0.06 or on blitzes at plus 0.26. Blitz efficiency remains low at a 5.3% sack rate, aligning with team trends, and yards after catch allowed is a concern with positive over expected values amplifying prior issues. The secondary, led by defensive backs like Tarheeb Still and Derwin James, helps limit touchdowns but permits high passer ratings in some matchups, with average separation around 4.0 yards in aggressive scenarios. In under-pressure situations across 63 snaps and 55 pass attempts, the defense excelled with negative 0.45 EPA per pass, 2.9 yards per pass, 1 touchdown allowed, a 22.2% sack rate, and plus 9 yards after catch over expected, with an average time to throw of 3.38 seconds and 33.3% blitz percentage. Blitz situations over 38 dropbacks showed weaker results at plus 0.26 EPA per pass, 6.2 yards per pass, 3 touchdowns, a 5.3% sack rate, 55.3% pressure rate, and plus 24 yards after catch over expected, with a quicker time to throw of 2.67 seconds. No pressure and no blitz stats complement this, with organic pressure at 26.2% yielding negative 0.22 EPA, while light box run defense in Week 5 versus the Commanders allowed 4.7 yards per play over 9 runs, a low 11.1% stuff rate, and minus 8 rushing yards over expected, suggesting opponents underperformed but with room for improvement against outside runs. Week 4 at the New York Giants showcased strong no-blitz dominance at negative 0.39 EPA per pass and a 25% sack rate, contributing to 11 total sacks and highlighting matchup-specific success against their offensive line, though weaknesses emerged without pressure at plus 0.40 EPA and 7.0 yards per pass. Week 5 versus the Washington Commanders was less effective, with positive EPA in no pressure at plus 0.73 and no blitz at plus 0.38. Mixed blitz results at plus 0.51 despite 50% pressure, and light box run defense at plus 0.01 EPA, aligning with overall blitz struggles including 0 sacks and a touchdown allowed, while pressure situations remained a bright spot at minus 0.44 EPA. Comparative insights reinforce pressure dependency, with elite performance versus the Giants, but insufficient pressure leading to high yards per pass of 9.7 to 10.1 versus the Commanders, where blitzes were exploited at 0% sacks and plus 0.51 EPA. Yards after catch and coverage issues persist, with elevated over-expected values in Week 5 no pressure at plus 20, contrasted by better control versus the Giants at +8. Over 5 weeks, the defense should focus on boosting organic pressure at 26.2% in no blitz and reducing yards after catch over expected to sustain performance, leaning on four-man rushes rather than blitzes and improving the secondary to limit separation in yards after catch, especially against mobile quarterbacks. Recommendations include shifting toward no blitz pass rush for about 60% of pass downs to maximize hybrid benefits, increasing stacked box frequency to 20 to 30% against run-heavy teams to potentially lower run EPA, and addressing yards after catch through better tackling from defensive backs. If trends continue, the Chargers could project a top 5 dropback EPA, but a mid-tier run ranking. Dolphins Kickoff has an outside guy keeping contain. You could potentially cross-block him with second-to-last guy, or use lead kickoff returner to attack outside shoulder and block Dolphin player and back outside with a cross block. You will see second-to-last Dolphin player initially keep contain, but then go inside, so if returner keeps same running lane, but cut outside at last minute, you could get same result and potentially break through towards the outside, but underneath the last Dolphin player to inside. The same cross block could be used on punt return. Instead of trying to block the other team's punt team close to line of scrimmage, run down and try to create a running lane in the middle by cross block, or have half the line try to block the punt and the other half block the punt return team one way. The half of Chargers that were trying to block the punt run down and try to get blindside blocks in the same direction that the other Chargers players are blocking.